Your life as Homo erectus. You wake because the cold forces your body to move. There is no memory of sleep as rest, only unconsciousness interrupted by sensation. When your eyes open, they do not search for meaning. They search for threat, light, motion, anything that might kill you before the day begins. Your body rises before thought. There is no language in your head, no inner voice, no concept of self. There is only pressure. Hunger pressing from inside, cold pressing from outside, the ground pressing up against your weight. You stand because standing keeps blood moving. Movement keeps you alive. You do not know what alive means. You only know what stops. You smell before you see. Rot. Damp earth. Smoke that never fully leaves the air. Smoke is safety. Smoke means fire survived the night. Fire means warmth. Warmth means fewer things trying to end you. You move toward it automatically. Around you, others move too. Shapes, bodies, familiar, but not personal. You recognize them the way you recognize stone or branch, by pattern, not attachment. If one does not rise, you do not wait. Waiting costs heat. The day begins without intention. Your hands are already damaged, skin thickened, split, hardened into something closer to tool than flesh. You do not remember when it happened. Pain does not arrive as signal anymore. Pain is background. You scan the ground. Anything that can be eaten is noticed. Anything that can be used is picked up. Nothing is wasted because waste is death delayed, not avoided. You do not hope for food. You search because searching is the only action that sometimes ends hunger. Your stomach does not complain, it contracts. That contraction is your motivation. There is no plan. Plans require future. The future is an abstraction your body does not possess. There is only now, and now is always dangerous. You know, without knowing how, that you are not safe. Nothing in the world exists to protect you. There is no shelter that cannot collapse, no place that does not eventually smell of blood. Even fire turns against you if it spreads too far. Everything that keeps you alive also contains the ability to kill you. You do not call this fear. Fear requires imagination. You simply remain alert. You move with the group not because of belonging, but because isolation reduces your chances. More eyes mean more warning. More bodies mean predators hesitate longer. Long enough for movement. Movement is survival. You do not think of yourself as separate from the group. If you fall, the group continues. If the group falls, something else eats. This is not cruelty. This is order. Your body understands something deeper than thought. You are replaceable. There is no comfort in this understanding. There is no despair either. Replaceability is neutral. As the light shifts, you walk. Your feet know the ground. Stones cut. Thorns pierce. You do not stop. Stopping invites attention. Attention invites teeth. You hear a sound in the distance. Not a noise, a pattern. Your muscles tense, not consciously. Your body remembers this sound from other days that did not end well. You slow. Others slow too. No one signals. Signals require agreement. Agreement requires trust. Trust is fragile. Instinct is shared. You wait. Waiting is not passive. It is coiled. Muscles ready to run, to strike, to scatter. You do not imagine victory. You imagine escape. Survival does not require winning. It requires not being chosen. You are aware dimly that some days end and some do not. You do not know why. You only know that you're still here now and that now demands motion again. The sun climbs. Hunger sharpens. Danger never leaves. This is not the beginning of your life. This is simply another moment. You have not yet failed to survive. The day does not change. That is how you know you are still alive. Light moves across the ground, and your body adjusts to it without thought. Muscles tighten and release in patterns learned through repetition, not teaching. Nothing is explained. Nothing is questioned. The body learns because bodies that do not learn stop moving. You walk. Walking is not travel. It is necessity stretched across distance. You move because staying in one place means hunger returns faster. Hunger does not wait. Hunger does not negotiate. You search, not with hope, with scanning. Eyes move low. hands are ready. Anything soft enough to tear, anything slow enough to catch, anything already dead but not yet claimed is noticed instantly. You do not hesitate. Hesitation gives time to others. Food is taken, not found. When you eat, there is no pleasure. Teeth tear, jaw works. Swallowing is fast. The body wants fuel, not experience. You eat because not eating weakens you, and weakness attracts attention. You know this without knowing how you know it. The group spreads and contracts like something breathing. Distance grows when danger is low. Distance shrinks when the air feels wrong. You do not understand weather, but your body feels pressure change. Wind carries information. Smell arrives before sight. Your senses are your memory. There is no teaching. There is only correction. When you reach for something dangerous, pain arrives quickly. Pain teaches faster than explanation. When you move incorrectly, teeth or claws appear. Those who survive adjust. Those who don't are removed from the pattern. You step over bones without noticing them as remains. They are texture. They are part of the ground. You do not wonder who they were. Wondering does not help you eat. Death is not an event. It is an outcome. Sometimes one of the group falls. Sometimes they do not rise again. There is no pause. No circle forms. No sound is made. A body that cannot move is no longer part of movement. The group shifts around it naturally, the way water moves around stone. You do not feel sadness. Sadness requires attachment beyond utility. You feel something else. Adjustment. Space changes. Weight redistributes. You learn the new pattern immediately. Survival does not allow delay. Your hands are always busy. Breaking, scraping, holding, lifting, striking. These motions repeat until they feel permanent. Skin hardens. Nerves dull. Pain stops signaling danger and becomes texture. You are never clean. Blood dries. Dirt sticks. Smell clings to you, marking where you have been and what you have touched. You do not wash. Washing wastes energy and removes information your body uses to judge proximity and threat. When the group stops, it is because stopping has become less dangerous than moving. Fire appears again, controlled but never trusted. Fire bites. Fire feeds. Fire keeps larger teeth away but invites smaller ones. You sit close. Not for comfort, for warmth. Warmth preserves strength. Strength keeps you alive longer. There is no concept of rest. There is only reduced movement. Even when still, your body listens. Sounds layer over each other. The crack of burning wood, breathing, movement beyond the light. Every sound is evaluated. None are ignored. You sleep in fragments. Your body never fully lets go. Muscles remain ready. Eyes open quickly. You wake often, not because of dreams, but because the world does not allow surrender. This is normal. You do not resent it. Resentment would require comparison to something better. There is nothing better to compare it to. As days repeat, your existence narrows further. Thought, if it exists, is practical. Where to move, when to stop, what can be eaten, what must be avoided. Anything outside this frame fades immediately. You do not imagine tomorrow. Tomorrow is identical to now unless you fail. And failure is final. You do not feel heroic. You do not feel cursed. You feel present. Present in a body that must continue or be removed. By the time the light fades again, you're still here. That is the only result that matters. No record exists of how close you came to disappearing. No one measures effort, only outcome. You survived the day. That does not mean anything. It only means you are required to do it again. There is no you. Not in the way a future world will understand it. There is a body that moves, a set of reactions bound together by habit and necessity. When you act, there is no sense of authorship. Action happens the way breathing happens. You do not think I do this. It simply occurs. Isolation does not mean separation from others. It means separation from self. You move among the group, but there is no inner boundary marking where you end and the others begin. When one body shifts, others respond. When one falls behind, the pattern tightens or loosens. The group is not a collection of individuals. It is a mechanism that happens to be made of flesh. You are a moving part. Sometimes you are close to others. Sometimes you are alone for stretches of movement. Neither state carries meaning. Being near does not imply connection. Being apart does not imply loss. Only risk changes, and risk is evaluated constantly without emotion. You do not miss anyone. Missing would require memory shaped by attachment. Memory for you is muscular, sensory. It stores patterns, not faces. The smell of danger, the sound of movement through brush, the feel of ground that collapses under weight. You remember what kills. You do not remember who died. When you are injured, you do not think of care. You think of compensation. You shift weight. You alter movement. You slow slightly, then speed up again when pressure demands it. Pain is acknowledged only when it interferes with motion. If it interferes too much, you fall behind. Falling behind is not punishment. It is arithmetic. Predators do not choose you because you're weak. They choose you because you are possible. Possibility is enough. Teeth do not require justification. You sense this constantly. Not as fear, as calibration. You do not imagine yourself surviving forever. You do not imagine yourself ending. Both ideas require narrative. Narrative has not yet arrived in the world. There is only continuation until interruption. When you look at others, you do not see roles. You see proximity, mass, movement, sound. You know which bodies you have moved beside before, but not in a way that creates story. Familiarity exists without intimacy. If one of them disappears, the pattern adjusts. You do not look back. Looking back would slow you. At night, when movement reduces and fire narrows the world into a circle of light, something close to awareness appears. Not thought, a pressure of sensation that lingers longer than usual. You feel the ground beneath you, the heat against your skin, the hunger still present but dulled. For a moment, the world is not immediately killing you. This is the closest you come to interiority. It does not last. A sound arrives, or a shift in air, or nothing at all. The body reasserts control, muscles tense, attention sharpens. Whatever almost formed inside you collapses back into function. You are not becoming human. Not yet. You are becoming efficient. Your existence is defined entirely by the present moment's demands. Past and future dissolve because they do not help you move correctly now. The body that hesitates dies. The body that reflects dies. The body that wonders why dies. Only bodies that respond remain. You do not feel empty. Emptiness would imply loss of something once held. You have never held a self. You are motion shaped by danger. You are awareness compressed into survival. You are a living thing that has not yet learned to narrate its own existence. And because you do not narrate, you do not suffer in the way later humans will. You simply continue, until continuation is no longer possible. There is no moment when it ends, no signal, no failure that announces itself loudly enough to matter. Your body slows in a way that feels almost cooperative. Muscles respond a fraction later than they used to. Balance adjusts less precisely. You compensate without awareness, the way you always have. Compensation works until it doesn't. You do not understand that this is different. Difference requires comparison, and comparison requires memory shaped by story. You have neither. There is only the present becoming slightly heavier to move through. You fall behind once. Not dramatically, just enough. The ground is uneven. Your foot slips where it never has before. You recover, but the recovery costs more than it should. Breath comes harder. The body notices this not as danger, but as inefficiency. Inefficiency attracts attention. Not from the group, from the world. The group continues because continuing is what groups do. They do not choose to leave you. They simply move at the speed required to remain alive. Speed is not moral. Distance is not personal. You are alone without being abandoned. Aloneness does not frighten you. Fear requires the belief that something else could happen. You simply register that proximity has changed. Risk recalculates. Sounds grow louder. Not because the world is closer, because there are fewer bodies around you to absorb it. Wind carries smell differently now. You are more visible, more selectable. You move anyway. Movement has always been the answer. Your body still knows what to do, but it does not know why it is becoming harder. There is no concept of aging, no idea of decline, only a series of corrections that stop correcting enough. When you stop, it is not a decision. Your legs do not collapse, they simply do not respond with the urgency they once did. You sit because sitting reduces strain. Reducing strain has always preserved movement. This time it does not. The ground is cold. You feel it. Cold does not scare you. Cold is familiar. Cold has always been present. Sometimes it kills. Sometimes it does not. You do not expect either outcome. Your breathing slows. Not peacefully, mechanically. The world continues to deliver information to your senses. Smell, sound, pressure. But your body no longer prioritizes response. The loop weakens. There is no thought of death. Death is not a concept. There is only a reduction of urgency, a thinning of reaction. The constant pressure that has driven you forward every moment of your existence finally eases. Not because safety has arrived, but because response is no longer possible. Predators may come, or they may not. It does not matter. Your body does not brace. It does not anticipate. It does not imagine pain. It does not imagine relief. It simply stops maintaining itself against the environment. The world absorbs you the way it absorbs everything else. Flesh returns to soil. Heat leaves. Smell changes. Within hours, there is nothing distinct left to mark where you were. No object, no boundary, no sign that this place once required your movement to remain stable. The group does not return. Not because they forgot you, because forgetting implies memory. They continue elsewhere. The pattern persists. Other bodies move, other bodies fail. The mechanism remains intact. The world does not record your existence. Not in stories. Not in names. Not in meaning. What remains of you is not history. It is continuity. A species that moved forward, without knowing it was doing so, carried by bodies like yours, that lived, endured, and disappeared, without ever understanding that anything else was possible. There's no silence at the end. There is only the world, continuing exactly as it did, before you were ever required to exist.